We just got some insane news about Fantastic Four First Steps that includes our first details about the female Silver Surfer, a pregnant Sue Storm, Galactus, how this connects to Doomsday, and so much more. And I'm letting you know right now, some of this news is really gonna shock you. And there's only one man, alone, betrayed by the country he loves that can break it down like me. And that's me. So me and you, we gotta talk about it. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. But for real, with yesterday being April 4th, a lot of people thought they would release the second trailer on 4/4. Because 4. While we didn't get a trailer, we do have the description of the trailer. And they said, haha, you know what, he got one more for you. As we gotta look at this brand new poster. And with the amount of edges in this poster, sounds about right. It looks fantastic. Say that again. But thanks to Empire Magazine, we got some brand new images and even more details from director Max Shackman on top of the footage description. Here's the thing, life's Ben Grimm lately. But here you can see Ben Grimm and Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, a Latino leading man. I like that. I love it. And we also got to look at Johnny Storm and Sue Storm working on some contraptions. I'm just really loving the retro 60s aesthetic for it. But on to the cool details. Matt Shackman had this to say about the movie. We are our own universe, which is wonderful and liberating. There's really no other superheroes. There's no Easter eggs. Eventually this world will meet up with other worlds. But for now, this is our own little corner, which I love hearing because don't get me wrong, I love the interconnectivity of the MCU. That's what makes it so unique. But I also like a nice self-contained story that allows the director to cook. And Mac, it's time to cook. But Matt Shackman also revealed that the Fantastic Four are famous, stating that we went with this idea that they're the most famous people in America because they're adventurers, explorers, astronauts, not because they're superheroes. And they come back and they're superheroes on top of it. But primarily they're astronauts, they're family. Family! Fantastic! This entire quote is perfect. That's what the Fantastic Four is. They're a family. They're the fucking Incredibles. The Incredibles are the Fantastic Four. But Matt Shackman also spoke on how he had a grounded version of space, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how grounded you can make space. But Matt Shackman said, and I quote, "No wormholes. Their tech is very much retro future, but it's also booster rockets. It's a combination of Marvel and Apollo 11. Again, retro futuristic 60s. Finally, Matt Shackman mentioned how this film is very much about the spirit of the space race from the 60s, stating it's all about JFK and optimism. It's imagining these four going into space instead of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. And that really feels like the vibe we've been getting from all of the posters and the trailers and all the marketing materials that we've gotten so far. So I really like that. But I'm letting you know right now, all of these people on this earth, they're cooked! Because now we got to get onto the juicy details of the trailer description. So here's a very detailed description of the Fantastic Four First Steps footage that was shown at CinemaCon. The footage opens with our titular family/superhero group being brought onto a talk show. It is established that the Fantastic Four have been around for a good while in this alternate universe of the MCU, and they're beloved by their society. Sue Storm, played by Vanessa Kirby, and Reed Richards, played by Pedro Pascal, arrive late to a dinner with Johnny Storm, who's played by Joseph Quinn, and Ben Grimm, who's played by Eben Moss Baccarat. But to make up for being late, she announces that she's pregnant? Johnny Storm congratulates the couple, saying Sue will make a great mom and joking that Reed has some work to do. And things seem to be going well in this dimension until the Silver Surfer, who's played by Julia Garner, comes to Earth and warns the Fantastic Four that their world has been marked for imminent destruction. A civilian asks Reed Richards if they are going to be okay, to which he answers, I don't know. We see him consumed by his research, burdened by their heroic responsibilities. To end off the footage, Sue and Reed make a promise for the future of their child, and we are shown Reed giving a speech and telling the public that the Fantastic Four will protect them. But the trailer ends with a shot of the Silver Surfer riding on the iconic board away from the burning flames of an explosion, with a bunch of ominous shots of Galactus throughout the trailer. The general sense that this footage gave off was a sense of dread, like this world is coming to an end. I don't know about you, but that sounds fire. It sounds like Armageddon, but with superheroes and Galactus. This time he ain't a fucking cloud. But we gotta talk, bro, Sue Storm is pregnant. Which, funny enough, a lot of people, myself included, theorized throughout the trailer. I felt like they were really trying to hide this. I feel like the most obvious use of CGI to cover up a baby bump was in this scene here, where she was waddling left and right, but she had a flat stomach. Thought we would have noticed, but we did. Which means that this scene here is probably of Sue Storm giving birth in space, and honestly evokes a bunch of different panels throughout the comics. So that means one of the most powerful characters in Marvel Comics history, Franklin Richards, is on the way. And all I gotta say is Franklin. Where your mom at, Franklin? Where your mom at? But if I had to guess, this is the reason why Galactus wants to consume this Earth, because he senses a powerful entity and he wants to consume it. I got a strong hunch and theory that Franklin Richards is going to be the one that saves the Fantastic Four from dying, but their world gets consumed. Given the fact that Reed was obsessed with finding a way to travel through dimensions, I feel like the MCU is going to adapt Franklin to have those powers somehow. Kind of out of left field, but I mean, it's the MCU. They be trying anything. So yeah, all that concept art that leaked to the Fantastic Four is for surely real. And we got our first little look at little Franklin with Herbie. Come on, man. I need more footage of Herbie. But I just love everything about this because this is the Fantastic Four. This is the Fantastic Four that we deserve. This is the Fantastic Four that we have not gotten in live action. The Incredibles is the best Fantastic Fantastic Four movie we've ever gotten, which is sad because they've really just ripped it off from us. But another major standout from that trailer is Julia Garner's Silver Surfer. And before you guys go, oh, they went, whoa, she's not playing a race swap version of Norrin Rad, who you're all probably familiar with. Yeah, you remember that demon from the movie? She's playing one of his boo-thangs in Shia LaBeouf, who in a different universe in Marvel Comics also becomes a Silver Surfer along with Norrin Rad, which further confirms that this universe is not in the same universe as the MCU. I like that because I think Norrin Rad deserves his own project. Really build him up and make him be a real menace. But that also means that this concept art for the Fantastic Four is legit too. This is the scene of her warning Reed Richards. I really hope she doesn't end up looking like Amber Rose. From the footage description, they say she ends up looking more like this, longer flowing hair. And they say her visual effects are some of the most incredible that we've seen. So I can't wait. Especially because that's Ruth Langmore, Marty fucking Bird. But how I think this ties into Doomsday is that I feel like we're probably gonna get a major confirmation that this Fantastic Four team is actually from 616. And the longer they stay in this universe, more likely it is that a big incursion happens, which would set off the events for Doomsday and then Secret Wars. And that would explain why Reed Richards is obsessed with trying to travel through different dimensions and finding a way to stop Galactus. Damn, I just realized Namor is gonna be in Doomsday with Sue Storm. This is like Stockholm Syndrome, bro. But something that I'm really intrigued with is the fact that they still haven't showed Reed Richards' powers. I want to see that stretchiness. It's like Pedro Pascal said, everything has to stretch. I know a lot of people think, it's gonna look goofy regardless. I mean, you're stretching your body. It looked goofy in the early 2000s, but I mean, One Piece live action actually made it look pretty good. So why can't the MCU do it? But I do think it's weird they haven't shown any footage of that yet. I also really love the ominous presence of like an Armageddon happening that is Galactus. And by the way, you're definitely gonna have to watch it in IMAX because look how much bigger the screen is compared to the top. That's a crazy back shot. You want more Galactus head? You gotta, all right, I'm crazy. I mean, he's probably gonna shapeshift to a size like this anyway, which I need because this looks tough. I've been calling it for like years now, months. The Fantastic Four's alternate universe, it's cooked. They're gonna somehow find a way to survive, and that's how they end up teaming up with the Avengers, the Wakandans, the Thunderbolts, and the old X-Men. But what really has me curious is if Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is going to be the same Doctor Doom that already knows this Fantastic Four from this universe, or if this is going to be, or if they have their own version of Doctor Doom. Like, that's what's really got me curious, because I think my biggest working theory on Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is that he's basically going to be like, what the goals, he wants the goals that Tony Stark had in the MCU, right? Like, he just wanted to protect the world. So ruling with like an iron fist essentially as like the end all be all of the multiverse kind of seems like something that Doctor Doom would want to be, being the narcissistic that he is. Makes a lot of sense that, maybe he saw his version of Tony Stark sacrificed himself. That would be really interesting. I think, if you really want to make it interesting, I think that's the way you do it in the MCU. Guess we'll have to find out every Sunday night when we have dinner. But I think the MCU's Fantastic Four movie has the potential to be a top 5 MCU movie, and it really feels like they're nailing the comic accuracy of this team. And I just got real high hopes. That's everything we know about the Fantastic Four so far. Let me know what you think about all this news down in the comments below. And as always, like and follow for more.